There are some things that we wanted to talk about, I think, on this stream. We've got some
yeah.
notes. So, because most of the time we come very unprepared and we just kind of take questions the whole time.
Pretty much.
That's, again, just how we roll. But this time I felt like there was just a lot of stuff that's been going on recently with the channel and with VR in general. We're kind of into the retail season, so to speak, the season of giving and of buying. And that means that a lot of people are really interested in what to buy, and companies are really interested in what you're going to buy, quite frankly. So
right.
they're very interested in what you guys buy. Me, not so much. I just try to propose the information and lay it out there, and then people make their own purchasing decisions. But we did want to take one last crack, final thoughts at the Pimax Crystal Light real quick, because this is sort of the last hurrah for the Pimax Crystal Light. We did sort of like our initial video where we sort of talked about it and reviewed it. I did the teardown video on it. I've done a couple shorts on the Crystal Light, just kind of talking about the different aspects and elements of it and comparing it to other headsets.
Yep.
And here it is. It's the Pimax Crystal Light. Preston spent a lot of time playing around with it, I feel like. He even took it home for a while.
I did. I think it was like a week or two. I had it here at the office, and then I took it home for a little while to play with it.
Yeah.
I'd never had owned anything like this specifically, so it was definitely different than the Quest 3, because I'd played on the Quest 3 and the Valve Index, and I've played on HP Reverbs and the HTCs. So this was definitely a totally different experience between all those headsets.
Yeah.
So again, our big takeaway on this was that it was a simulation headset. Aren't they all simulate? But this one is really good
They all
at
simulate
simulators.
something. But
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But like driving and flying simulators specifically, like Microsoft Flight Simulator on this just looked really good.
Pimax did a great job on gearing that toward that market, because I don't think there's anything specifically out there for it. Because you don't want, if you can help it, you would rather play some sort of sim on this versus the Quest 3.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, you're paying the premium price.
Yeah.
The iron price.
The iron price. I wanted to note one thing on the Pimax here, because I've had a lot of time to sort of collect feedback and data from just comments and people just in the channel. And there's a lot of negative energy toward Pimax, just for, I think, historical reasons. There's a lot of people on communities and like forums, and they talk about the Pimax, like the customer service and previous products. And I just have to say, like, for the record, that has just not been our experience. If you're thinking about buying a Pimax, if you're in that ballpark of like, I really want a dedicated PCVR headset, and this is in my budget, and because it is a pretty budget-friendly headset as far as like PCVR headsets go. These are like $850 out the door or something like that for the controllers and the whole caboodle. Like, you could get add-ons like the DMOS things, and you could get base stations and the little base station like tracking panel. But just out the door, with the inside-out tracking and controllers is $850, which is significantly cheaper than the Valve Index was, 6 years ago. Significantly cheaper than a lot of the, PCVR headsets that are, now going for anywhere in the like $1,500 to $3,000 price range in today's market.
It is an entry level.
It's an entry level PCVR headset.
Yeah. Oh, Jinx.
Jinx.
You'll make Coke.
A
Diet
go
Coke.
Get one. Yeah.
That's all we have here in the shop is Diet Coke. That's all he drinks.
Yeah, that's all I drink. The more you know. But yeah, it just wasn't our experience. I felt like the customer service was really good. They were really communicative with us.
Yeah.
When we had issues, they walked us through things. When we needed help with the software, they helped us out with that, because even though we've set up a lot of headsets and had a lot of experience running VR arcades and, blah, blah, blah. There's always troubleshooting things that go into, something that you've never experienced before. And, they were very helpful. So
I feel like there's always little issues with PCVR headsets. It could be a setup process, a base station process if you have it, some software issues. So it's just interesting that that we just have little issues with it. But I mean, they were receptive to our needs,
and they were resolvable issues. It wasn't like anything crazy. It wasn't like, oh, you mean you don't have a 50 series card laying around to power this mammoth of a device? Like, no, it was like, oh, here, try changing this, and it worked, and then it was good, and it was fine. So
Shout out to Dorothy.
Yeah,
over
Dorothy
at
at Pimax. She really helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
The other thing that I have to say is somebody left a negative comment on one of my videos earlier about the Pimax, and it was, yeah, I know, right? And it was about the build quality, and I didn't understand where that was coming from really, because I tore one of these down a couple weeks ago. You know, I made a video about it, and I actually really thought the build quality was really good, especially from the repairability level. You know, repairability level. Everything was really accessible. One thing I like about this is it's a lot like the Valve Index in the fact that there's not a whole lot of moving parts. You see that a lot in like the Quests, for example, especially things like the Quest Pro or like the Pico 4 Ultras. Like, you know, when like there's a lot of things that sound really good on paper, like the automatic IPD adjuster, but that's a thing that can fail. There's a lot of things that sound really good on paper, like multiple cooling fans, but those are things that can fail. We see that a lot on the Quest 3s, for example.
Yeah.
Like Quest 3 fans,
Yep.
they burn out. Little pieces of plastic get stuck in them, dust gets stuck in them, screws fall out inside the headset because of whatever gets stuck in them, and then the whole headset's just like gone.
That was perfect timing. Gone, and I
gone.
sneezed.
And just from the repairability standpoint, this thing came apart very easily, went back together very easily. And I just don't have any issues with it. I mean, other things too, like the headphones just come off one screw. You remove a little foam panel here, one screw takes the whole headphone off. So if you wanted to upgrade the headphones, you just pop those really right on. I mean,
I was going to ask you about that because so the DMOS ones that they sell, you can buy them as the added-on accessory.
Yeah.
So these pop off, and then you can just. I'm assuming we've not put them on. We've not. Well, I know we requested some, but. I'm just curious to see what those look like when they're on here. What kind of look it gives, and I don't know, just the way it goes on there. I don't know.
I figured we have another headset coming down the pipe, and that we'll probably review. And I figured we'd probably test them out on that.
Another headset.
Another headset.
Okay.
So, well, I guess I might as well just say it. But we're kind of wrapping up on the Crystal Light here. We're talking to Pimax about doing a Crystal Super here soon because they just need more brand awareness, honestly, and I think that they need good favor within the VR community. I like their product. I think it's, you know, for what it is, you know, it's not a Quest 3, you know, it's not an Apple Vision Pro, like, and I think I said this when we did our Table Talk video, but it's like there are different tools for different jobs. And there are like different VR headsets are going to fit different types of customers. And if you're the type of customer that this is for, which is you like, you know, a tethered DisplayPort PCVR setup, and you want to play things like racing simulators, sit-down experiences, flight simulators, stuff like that, man, it's a really good fit for that kind of a customer. And it's an entry-level budget option for that kind of a customer. They don't have to go out and spend $2,000 or even $1,300 on a big screen beyond or something like that in order to get, you know, really nice resolution and really nice performance and inside-out tracking and good audio. I forgot where I was going with that, but anyway, so they're talking about the Crystal Super, so we'll probably get one of those on the channel here soon, and then we really liked the idea. We talked about it a lot in the Table Talk about the DMOS speakers, so I think that the idea was that they were going to send us some of those.
Yeah, we requested some, so
we could test those out with the Super and see what the difference is.
I'm kind of excited to try that. I had, in that video, we talked about the audio, and I think that the audio is a big part of the immersion, especially in VR. So,
yeah.
Just a big audio guy.
Yep. Audio helps a lot.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that sold a lot of people on things like the HTC Vive Pro and the Valve Index.
That's true.
Was the audio quality.
Yeah.
So that's what kept me on the Index for a long time. The audio quality. That and the Knuckles.